You are now listening to The Art of Reinvention by Teflon John, where my goal is to inspire you mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually. And I just want to help you grow the garden of your mind. I just want to change the world one person at a time by giving them motivational advice, inspirational advice. And right now, I'm glad that you're tuning in to the podcast show. So we want you to sit back, open up your mind, and just absorb all the content. Please share this content across all of your social media platforms as it will help this show grow. Sit back and enjoy. One love.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Teflon John coming to you courtesy of the IAmTeflonJohn podcast and the IAmTeflonJohn brand. And tonight's episode is called Potential for Change. And I have a very great friend of mine, and not only that, a very great person, Derek Polley. And for those who don't know who I am, my name is Teflon John, and my goal is to inspire people to go after their goals, to go after their dream and their passion. And I just want to provoke thought. You know, I just want to make you think, and then ultimately you'll make your own choice to change. So right now we have Derek Polley, who is running for City Council for Lynchburg. We're going to let him introduce himself real quick.
Hey, what's going on? Happy to be here. John, on your show. Congratulations on doing big things as far as communication in the city. I'm running for City Council here May 1st. I've been in the community serving. I serve on the Lynchburg City School Board here currently. I'm on the Lynchburg Symphony Orchestra Board, Lynchburg Parks and Recs, just different capacities where I've been asked to serve in the community. So I've been out here, and now I'm looking forward to this new challenge of City Council on May 1st.
Okay, sounds good, man. And so everybody get to know Derek. You know, follow him on social media, and if we have time, we're going to let him share those links. So we're going to get right into it, Derek. So my first question is, and a lot of people have been wanting to know, why run for City Council and why now?
Well, now is the time for change. Right now, Lynchburg is facing some pretty tough challenges. You know, we have some budget issues. We have one of the highest poverty rates in the state. We have some education budget cuts coming, and we need to have voices at the table that represent the best interests of the community. When I was growing up, kind of like you and I were talking about, most politicians were old white men. So it's important that we get some young, fresh ideas, and especially some Black men, women, people of minority, brown people in positions of authority to help make decisions, because there are things that are being made, decisions being made for communities where there isn't proper representation. So now is the time to change that. So that's why right now is the time.
Okay, sounds good, man. Sounds good. So basically, man, like when you're talking about, and we call this show the Potential for Change, because potential is basically something that hasn't been done yet. You know, anyone has the potential to be president. Anyone has potential to be the next school principal, but potential is only potential until it's converted into kinetic energy. So tell people, how can they turn you from the potential of being the next city council to actually being the next city councilman?
Well, right now it's all about getting out and voting on May 1st, getting people connected with the movement, the things that I'm standing for on my platforms, and understanding that in the last couple of elections here in Lynchburg, maybe 25,000 people is all that came out to vote. Lynchburg has 75,000, even 80,000 people here in the city. And that means that we have some serious decisions being made by a small percentage of the population. So at what point are we going to say that we need to start organizing and advocating for the things that we want in our communities? It's time to stop complaining on the sidelines. It's time to get in the game. We're already paying taxes. We're already involved. We're just not engaged. So I'm looking forward to everyone finding out what the campaign is about, getting a part of this mission from the next 4 weeks, April through May, are very crucial. We only have 4 weeks left to make some major decisions. So like I said, it's important that people realize some of my platforms. So that's why I wanted to come talk to you today.
Okay, now, you see a lot of local churches, and you see a lot of local nonprofits trying to, advocate for the homeless, trying to feed the homeless. Now, could you go over what the current Lynchburg poverty rate is, and what would you do, and if you had any ideas of how to combat that?
The Lynchburg poverty rate, as I stated, is 24.7, definitely one of the highest in the state of Virginia. The average is right around 14%, I believe, or somewhere in that mid-range. So we're quite some percentage points above the norm. Lynchburg right now is focusing on the bridges out of poverty, or Progress Out of Poverty initiative. That's where the city is spending time researching, gathering information. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I know that that's needed. But right now, we need some action in the city. We need to see some things that's producing tangible results. So I think that we should focus more on providing the community with financial literacy, some of the basic fundamental principles of finance, where we're talking about budgeting, we're talking about savings. Do you have a checking account? You know, are you saving for your future? Do you have an emergency fund? These are things that I wasn't taught growing up. And with my background as a financial advisor, I know that many of my clients don't have some of that background. So the city is kind of talking about progress out of poverty and getting people out of poverty. But my plan is more derived towards keeping people out of poverty, because we're going to give them the skills and the tools that they need to feel engaged and empowered, where they can take themselves out of poverty and take control of some of the things going on in their lives. I think there's a difference between having people in a room sitting around talking about poverty and then actually getting out in the community and equipping our communities with social, financial literacy, economic empowerment, the things that they need to really climb out of the hole that they're in.
Got you. So when you're talking about passing information and giving out some information, right? Now we want to switch the topic onto the school system, not only in Lynchburg, but in the entire United States of America. Every time you turn on the TV, every time you watch the news, you find out a program's been cut, Now, going through the current climate of our school system with, bullying at an all-time high, you got a lot of depression, a lot of teen suicide, school shootings. Could you go over the current school cut budget, or whatever they're cutting now, and what you would do or what you would try to do to help that out?
Right. Well, one thing Lynchburg City Council is proposing is that the Lynchburg City school system do at least a $1.1 million cut to the budget. Now, I sit on the school board currently, and a few weeks ago, we had teachers coming to our school board meeting telling us that they are literally making less money in 2018 than they were making in 2008. Now, that's something that we can't have, where we're not equipping our teachers who are preparing our next generation with what they need to survive. Lynchburg City Schools, unfortunately, plays lower than Lynchburg City Schools ranks 132nd out of 132 divisions in school pay. So we need to start putting our money where our mouth is. And if we value education and we value our teachers, then we need to start making sure we give level funding to our school division. The city schools isn't asking for anything additional than what we're required to receive from the state. And we're talking about $43 million is what we need. The city came back and said that they would like us to reduce that to about $41 million and some change. And where are we supposed to make those cuts from? Where are we supposed to take away positions where there are already problems in Lynchburg City Schools with the graduation rate, especially among African Americans? We're talking about closing the achievement gap. It's hard to do that if you're underfunded. We have a new superintendent starting on Monday. I'm so thrilled and ready for her, a strong African-American woman to take lead of Lynchburg City Schools. But I'm concerned about whether or not we're giving her the support by not providing level funding as she's starting a new venture right here in Lynchburg.
Gotcha. Now, when you talk about the new school superintendent starting, right, tell people why it's so.
I can't tell if you are on. I don't know if I have a glitch. I'm just going to assume that we're still going. So that education is a topic that's sensitive to me. I have 3 children right now in Lynchburg City Schools. So I want to make sure that not only my children, but everyone's children has the proper support that they need to make sure that we are closing this achievement gap and that we are improving our graduation rates. So right now, it's important to understand the dynamic that Lynchburg City Schools is funded partially by Lynchburg City. So the people on city council, if they don't support education and they don't decide to give us the allocation for funding, then we're going to have to find some very creative ways next school year. We already have to fund 8 new school buses, where that's about $700,000 on top of the $1.1 million cut. So I'm just curious as to where these cuts are going to come from that is not going to have a serious harm or detriment to our kids. My babies go to Lynchburg City Schools. schools. Your babies there's other people in this community, their children go to Lynchburg City Schools. So we need to be aware that they're proposing making some serious cuts that could possibly have some very bad effects on our children's education. Some people on council are saying that they support public education, but they're not willing to fund public education until they see more return on their investment. I'm confused as to how you say you support public education, but you don't fund public education. How can we get better grades, and how can we close the achievement gap if we're dealing with less funds? We have students that are coming with way more needs to be met than we've seen in the past. We have the poverty rate that we have in Lynchburg has a direct effect on the performance of our students, because they're coming to school with all types of things going on in their social life that teachers aren't prepared with handling. So the city council wants us to perform better in the classroom, but at the same token, they're not taking into effect the poverty rate, which the school system has no effect over, how that is playing an effect on the return on investment that they see. So those two of my platforms are making sure that we get some attention drawn to the poverty rate, as far as some tangible items we can walk away from. I know plans are good, research is good, but I need some tangible items. And I plan on, if I were to be on city council, I would make sure that we have some SMART goals where we're looking back every quarter, every 2 quarters, to make sure that we're producing tangible results. Another one of my platforms is economic development, where we start talking about areas where there are food deserts. We start talking about areas where we don't have the same allocation of funds as we do in other parts of the city. I live on Rivermont Avenue. Can do to help provide the fresh produce that we need in this area. But on the other hand, we need to start equipping our communities with the skills that they need to be able to advocate and organize for themselves. There's some serious brilliance in the community. There's some great ideas in the community, but we need to learn how to organize and collectively voice our concerns in our community so we can start seeing some action being done. And another thing I want to focus on is entrepreneurship. Here in Lynchburg, I know that we have a very low unemployment rate at 4%, I believe. So that means we do have jobs, but that means we don't have quality jobs where people are getting the pay that they need. You and I both worked at Tritech together. You and I both saw that there were people that worked 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, but were still living below the poverty line because of their wage. So we need to focus on bringing jobs to the area, but we need to focus on bringing good paying jobs to make sure that the people that are doing the labor aren't being taken advantage of.
Now,
and that's why I talk about entrepreneurship. We need to start providing our community with some skills to help taking some of these side hustles and cultivating them and turning them into actual legitimate businesses where people can start having another stream of income to hold them down in case that their job isn't the best paying job, or even in the case of a loss of employment. Once you build up your entrepreneurial skills, if you have been a tailor and you've been tailoring out of your home, now you've got getting some skills where they have put a vocational school right here on Rivermont Avenue. And we've partnered with a university where we're going to put a college where you can get an associate's degree right on Rivermont Avenue. We're going to put a financial institution. What the financial literacy that I'm talking about, we're going to have a place there where people can go and learn about the basic fundamental principles of financial literacy. These are all things that are in progress. So I'm not waiting until I get to city council until I start initiating some of my ideas. I think that they're important to move forward with now. I'm excited about this opportunity because people need to see new blood, new faces, new voices being represented. That's how we get the needle moved, and that's how we get different things done in the city. I'm excited about this young generation, people who normally wouldn't be engaged with the political process. They're finding out about their local government, the impact that it has, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm hoping we can, at some point, continue this dialogue, because it's all about getting people engaged, letting people know what's at stake. This next election is huge. I feel like that it's a big decision year right now in Lynchburg. we can look back at this date 5 years from now and see that we made some decisions to move our city forward, or that we just continue to do the same things that we're doing. We have to start holding our local representatives accountable. The highest poverty rate in the state, or one of the highest poverty rates in the state, we have to hold someone's foot to the fire to own up to that, and not just come up with talking, but actually come up with plans. So the election is May 1st. Everybody can vote for 3 individuals. So if you vote for me, you have 2 other people. If you vote for 2 other people, you still can vote for me. It's important to educate everybody on how important it is to get out here and rock the vote. So I appreciate you having me on. I don't know if we had some type of technical difficulties. I tried to keep going as best as I could, but Lynchburg, surrounding areas, it's important that we understand what's at stake for this local election. We need to have more people out voting. We need to have representation at the table. So now that you have a candidate that is invested in the community, that wants to see the best for everyone, but also is very concerned about the Black community, now is the time. If you are interested in seeing some things moved and shaked in Lynchburg, now is the time to get a part, get on board. My website is polleyforcouncil.com, Polley for council.com. Polley for Council is the Facebook page. Like it, share it. I hope everybody gets engaged. If you don't vote for me, that's fine, but make sure you get out and vote. You're already paying taxes. You're already involved, but you need to get out and make sure that your voice is heard, because it's time that Lynchburg shakes some things up. If we keep letting the same people make the same decisions, then we're going to end up in the same place. So I'm here for all of Lynchburg. I want to see all of Lynchburg do good, but I especially want to see people who haven't been getting as much attention, people who haven't had their voices heard, people who might not have a seat at the table. That's who I'm speaking up for right now. That's who I'm standing for, and I'm looking forward to it. May 1st, vote for Derek Polley. Adversity tested, neighborhood approved.
Those are some great points. I'm not sure if we have any technical difficulties or not, but all I'm gonna do is go ahead and close it out. Basically, man, what Derek's saying is we gotta hold our officials accountable. We gotta get out there. We gotta get to the polls and vote. And do realize that as a community, as a minority community in Lynchburg, that it's powerful when you're seeing a young brother such as Derek Polley trying to get into office, a young brother such as he trying to make a difference. So it's up to us to let him give us our voice as he takes a seat at the table and as he goes to bat for us and tries to make an attempt to make these changes. And don't forget, your vote counts. Starting here, your vote counts. Not only voting for the president, but voting for your local city districts, for your local county districts. Vote those guys in the office. And again, I'm Teflon John, and I just want to try to make some type of impact by sharing our stories. We're going to have more people on the show. We're going to have more guests next week. And like I said, my goal is just to inspire you, just motivate you physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially. And if I can get you to change by just getting you to think, just by provoking thought, then I believe that I've done my job. And that's going to end tonight's broadcast. And the podcast version will be available on my website. So if you get a chance, visit my website at www.IAmTeflonJohn, that's spelled JOHN.com. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. And as I always say, one love, be blessed.
We would like to thank you for listening to this episode of The Art of Reinvention by Teflon John. And we encourage you to share this episode across all your social media platforms. And we also encourage you to visit our website at www.IAmTeflonJohn.com and follow us on all our social media platforms at Facebook.com/RealTeflonJohn, Twitter.com/RealTeflonJohn, and Instagram.com/RealTeflonJohn. And while you're on Facebook, go ahead and like our page so you can receive first-hand notifications every time we go live with the motivational video or any motivational content. And as I always say, one love, be blessed.